Good evening, everyone. It is a real pleasure to be with all of you, and a particular pleasure to be with you tonight. Just this past weekend, GLSEN's Board of Directors approved GLSEN's new strategic plan, GLSEN 2020. The dynamics of the education world are changing profoundly, and GLSEN's strategy must evolve to meet new challenges. Now, I realize tonight I'm only one of two members of the current GLSEN staff that has actually attended every single one of the Respect Awards that GLSEN has ever held. It's changed a little bit, and so has the world around it. I'm so proud of the part we have played. Since our founding, GLSEN has transformed education in the United States. When I went to that first Respect Awards, I could not imagine the scenes and the crowd and the stories that we will hear tonight. Since 1990, GLSEN has forged bipartisan consensus that LGBT students deserve care and attention. We led the Safe Schools movement, protecting millions of students from anti-LGBT bullying and harassment. Our programs have reached all 50 states and sown the seeds of change globally. We helped to create LGBT History Month, debunk ex-gay therapy and keep it out of schools, expand the Day of Silence, thank you, and support the formation of tens of thousands of Gay Straight Alliance student clubs. It is so humbling and such an honor to stand before you and be able to say that today, GLSEN is the LGBT community's eyes, ears, and voice in the world of education. We've demonstrated that there are solutions to our issues that work for LGBT youth and work for schools. Our track record means that we have earned a seat at the table with education decision makers at the highest level, and it has enabled us to enlist their support for LGBT youth everywhere. But today, we face an urgent challenge. One need look no further than the presidential election to see that the very concept of respect for all is under attack. And new federal education law has shifted the balance of power and the focus of opportunity back to the state and local level. There, the majority of state legislatures are controlled by forces that are hostile to us and to all of our constituents. Our battles will increasingly be local, and our response must be local as well. And you'll see tonight what those voices can do. Over the next 4 years, GLSEN will lay the foundation of lasting change in thousands more schools across the U.S. To do so, we will grow our power at the local level, expanding our chapter network, now at 40 chapters in 27 states, and training tens of thousands of new local advocates. We'll expand our student leadership program, enlist parents as advocates in new ways, and increase the reach of our professional development services and flagship resources for educators. Our goal is clear, and no matter the current battles, we must remember that it is actually within our reach. Equality for LGBT students and respect for all in our schools. Tonight, you will hear from many of the advocates who move this vision forward every day in their communities. Their voices, bravely raised, often in hostile contexts, make all the difference. For example, last Wednesday in Springfield, Missouri, a Christian conservative entertainer named Bob Mondi rose to berate the Springfield School Board. He predicted that if the board followed the new federal guidance you may have been reading about to support transgender students, the wrath of the living God would fall upon the schools of Springfield. And beyond that, he said, if that board didn't do the right thing, He'd bring 1,000 other people back with him to the next meeting until they did. But because of GLSEN, Bob Mondi did not get the last word. Amanda Durham, chair of GLSEN's chapter in Springfield, Missouri, was at that meeting too, and she had the facts. Right now, transgender students face bias and violence at school that denies them the education that is their right. Amanda pointed out that in many school districts supported by GLSEN, they've been treating trans students fairly for years, without incident, and in ways that make those schools better for everyone. We must have a voice like Amanda's at every school board meeting in the country. We've won great victories. We've sparked a change in culture among students that has things moving definitively in our direction, and we must now seize that momentum. Working together, we will end anti-LGBT bias in the next generation. I cannot thank you all enough for being part of that. Now, when we get there, when we reach that point, we will have many champions to thank. And I am very, very proud and honored to tell you that we have one of those champions here with us tonight. Many of them. One in particular I'll introduce right now. She's the primary author of that transgender guidance for schools you've heard so much about. She leads the Office of Civil Rights at the U.S. Department of Education. And believe me when I say, there is no one whom you would rather have leading that charge on our behalf. Please welcome the Assistant Secretary of Education for the Office of Civil Rights, Catherine Lehman.